Now we're going to talk about the 5 questions from the capability of changing before protecting and how you might ask those and why you might ask those when you're using the 4A's canvas for changing before protecting. The first question, what's the worst that could happen? This is the question that puts a name on our fears. And there's a really good reason for doing that. The first one is, oftentimes when we put a name to the fear, it's not near as bad as we thought. And we realize, wait a minute, I can deal with that. I can live through that. I can do something ahead of time to mitigate the impact of that. And it makes it easier to move forward. Unspoken fears are always worse than spoken fears. But the second aspect of it is, if the worst that can happen is pretty worst, then you're going to want to figure out, okay, what is the risk I'm willing to take here? How far are we willing to go? How do I want to approach this? Is there a different way to mitigate some of that risk? Do I do a smaller version of it, do a pilot of it perhaps, as opposed to just going whole hog into it? The second question, what's the cost of staying safe? This is another reality check question. So I have 2 reality check questions in the book. One is, when was the last time I was wrong? And the second one is, what is the cost of staying safe? I love talking about the cost of staying safe because we don't often do that. For example, one of the costs of staying safe is, if we stay safe, we can't change, we can't innovate, we can't do things that haven't been done before, because it's not safe to do things that haven't been done before. They're not a known quantity. So we need to realize that the status quo, the safe thing, is not always safe. It has risks, it has downsides. And you can see that by companies have stayed in a safe place while other companies have innovated, taken the risk, and really eaten their lunch in business. So the second question, another reality check question, what's the cost of staying safe? Question number 3, what am I afraid to do? This is the find your fear question. So earlier we talked about putting a name on our fears. Now we're talking about, what are your fears? What am I afraid to do? Now this question, like other questions we've had, is the kind of thing that you really need to role model and ask yourself first. You need to be able to do this out loud. Maybe at first you need to do it by yourself, maybe with a trusted coach or advisor, but then eventually even with a team, say, what am I afraid to do here? You know, I'm a bit worried about taking on, this ambitious goal. I'm a bit worried that I don't have all the answers to solve this problem when we're taking it on. Whatever it may be, you need to acknowledge it, get it out there, and see what it is. Because if you don't acknowledge what you're afraid to do, you'll never know what's holding you back. And you'll never be able to find the people who can help you overcome that fear. And they may be right there on your team. The fourth question, how can I lead out loud here? This is the power of vulnerability question. And I've been talking about that. I just talked about it in the last question. For me, leading out loud is, I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be open. I'm going to go first into the things that are hard. I'm going to change first. I'm going to show that I changed first, so you can follow me, so you can trust that it's okay to make these changes. Leading out loud is leading first and leading by example. And you need to find the places to do that. The more those places you find, the more likely is that others are going to change around you. And if you think about change as we present it in the heart of transformation, it's more viral. You start, and then your group starts doing it. Another manager and their group starts doing it. And pretty soon you develop capability, and then things change very swiftly. It's very much a go slow to go fast and build the capability approach. The last question in changing before protecting is, when did I last ask for help? I kind of call this the litmus test question that is testing, are you the kind of person that asks for help? I work with senior executives, for some of the biggest companies in the world at the C-suite level. And I can tell you that from the smallest to the largest, people who are in roles of leadership are not trained to ask for help. They're trained to give help. They're trained to have answers. They're trained to be invulnerable and infallible. But in the world we live in today, that's so complex and so challenging and things changing so fast, everyone needs help. You need help for your thinking time. You need help to figure things out. You need expert help in all sorts of areas. So if you ask yourself, when was the last time I asked for help? And the answer is a long time ago, you're probably not doing as good a job as you can, and you're not getting the answers that you need. The same for your group. Your group probably still needs to ask for help. And so identifying when the last time you asked for help was, if you see you asked for it not too long ago, you're probably doing okay. Okay, so that's it. Those are the 5 questions from Changing Before Protecting. Love to hear your thoughts. And of course, as always, want to reach out, feel free to do so. All the contact information and links are either at the bottom of the page or in the bio here. Thanks a lot.